On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we are back in the shop with the 51 International L110. And today, we're gonna try to get some brakes so we can actually drive this thing on the road. I mean, we tagged it. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and today, like I said, I'm here with Eric and his International, and guess what just showed up? The brake master cylinder. So, this is actually a pretty rare piece here. But they make it today, I think, because you can buy them. So, this is a copy of the Lockheed, what was it? Lockheed Bendix design that we had. We got some holes here. So this side is the output. Everything's got plugs in it.
It's the one you said buy.
Yeah, I mean, it's the one that they said matched exactly. So I thought ours had through holes in it, but maybe these don't, because these are not through holes. They're only drilled into like a 1/2 inch and then threaded. Yeah. So let's take a quick gander at the old one and see what we're dealing with here. There's a chance that it is exactly the same. So,
or we just make the front brakes work.
Right.
I don't think that's the factory master cylinder that goes on this truck.
You know, so according to the internet, this isn't the factory one, but it fits the frame location exactly and everything else.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any way it was ever changed. I just think that this is back in the day when nobody knew anything about what parts were on what cars, and they're just grabbing parts and putting them on, you know?
Yeah,
so
that's believable.
Yeah, it's a Wagner Lockheed, that's what it is. But no, these aren't through holes either. I mean, I looked and looked and looked to make sure you were buying the right part. Yeah. And I think it's exactly the right part.
It sure looks the same.
Yeah, so we should be good. One small problem for mankind. In the pictures, they showed it would have a new rod. And we do not have the rod. I wanted to take a look in there. Well, I guess we can put our rusty rod in that thing.
Oh, no.
But
it's sealed, right?
It is sealed.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But it seemed like it was going to ship with a new one. So.
I didn't see it in the picture, but I also didn't think about it.
Yeah. Oh well. We'll clean ours up with the wire brush.
Yeah.
And
just clean it.
Run it, because it just has to press on that cylinder there.
Yeah.
But honestly, this is probably cheaper than the hassle of trying to rebuild that. Well, and of course, the casting broke on the other one.
Yeah.
As soon as we tried cleaning it up, it broke. And hopefully, it's pre-filled a little bit. Nope. Not a single drop.
Yeah, I was gonna say I doubt it.
I just wish we didn't have to bench bleed this or bench prime it, but it's completely dry.
I couldn't even take the lid off when I got it because it was so cold outside. I grabbed it and like I heard it crack.
Oh.
From just being cold.
Yeah.
You know? So I was like, we're not even gonna touch it.
We never would have gotten ours to work. There is a pinhole down in the bottom that the brake fluid goes into. I don't know if you can see it right through the center. The smallest little hole. And we couldn't even see that inside that one. It was rusted over.
No, yeah, I mean, we were hoping that it would sit in there for 24 hours and fluid would like leach down, but that
it didn't. Not even a little bit.
Yeah, we gave it the old college try.
We sure did. All right, time to install a new one. Hopefully this is magical.
That's the most money we're spending on this truck.
For a while.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I was gonna say, not cheap.
We're getting our new boot on the driver rod here that goes into the master cylinder. We had to reuse the old one, so we cleaned it up with the wire wheel. It's not the prettiest rod in the world, but it's what existed before. So now we're gonna screw this on first. Maybe it's not the best way to do it, but it's really the only way we can with the way that we're taking it apart and putting it back together. So we'll screw this on, run its jam nut back down, and then slide the master cylinder onto it and bolt it in. So it shouldn't be a big deal, and we should have this back together pretty quickly, I hope. Well, I've almost got your brakes done here. You just have to kind of float in the zero gravity maintenance position. It's in the manual, I think. We had so much hope for humanity in these days, right? We were all gonna have flying cars. We weren't gonna have any of this nonsense. But here we are in 2025, laying across the entire fender of a 51.
I'd do it back then.
It's very painful. I mean, the painful part is the hood latch. It's really pushing on my stomach right now. Right in the kidneys.
Shouldn't eat beans for dinner.
Those beans will get you every time. All right, well, at least the brake master is on. Snugging it up. It looks very pretty in there, but I wish we would have spray painted it black or something. because you know it's gonna rust just like the old one.
How many miles does it need to work for?
It's a great question. I would assume 49,000 again.
I mean, this one's only made it to 36,000.
Yeah, it's about what old cars did. I need a brake. It was very painful. And then I have to get under the car, install all the crush washers and the banjo bolt, and put the jam nut on, and we're finally ready to have brakes. At least it was a quick job. I mean, it might be painful, but it would take 10 times longer to do an ABS pump.
So, yeah.
You win some, you lose some.
Well, hopefully we have some brakes.
That's the next shirt I'm making, is win some, you lose some. Because we're on a consistent win-lose streak at the moment. Engine, win. Brakes, lose.
Yeah.
But today, win.
I was hoping we'd have our fuel pump.
As soon as we get that fuel pump, it's a street truck again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the supercharger shows up at the same time, right?
The straight six supercharger?
Absolutely.
That's dope.
It's huge. You wouldn't believe the piping coming off it. It's all PVC.
I'm not even putting the hood back on.
No, it's just this, we just put this PVC monstrosity and it's sitting up here with like a V-belt running it. It's the TVU supercharger.
But I just assume it'll work better than the new Rams. It's probably better.
Win some, you lose some, you know? That's where we're going.
Randy, if you want, I'll send you this engine at some point if you want one that's good.
It's a Hurricane, but with no H.
Yeah.
Hurricane. Eric is refilling the brake fluid. We have pulled a ton into the system. We don't know where it's going because it hasn't come out the driver's side front yet, but he's refilling the reservoir so we can keep going because we're well below half. Yeah, that light's right in your way, isn't it? We've been pulling a vacuum with the Mighty Vac for quite a while here on the front. We haven't seen any fluid yet, so we're gonna move on to another bleeder and try to figure out where all this fluid is at in the system. Is it headed towards the back? Is it headed towards the passenger side? We don't know, but we are gonna go find it. The only thing we do know is we're definitely getting a lot of air out of the thing and it's not leaking. You just got a ton of air right there. It is fogging the fluid in. Now we just have to find it. Well, we were bleeding and bleeding and bleeding, and we were starting to finally get some fluid through there. And Eric said, I've got a full pedal. And I was like, well, I'm not getting any brake fluid, so stand on it a little harder. And I mean, you guys know how brake bleeding is. In any modern car, you put all your weight on it and you push through it, and all of a sudden, any trash that was left in the brake system blows out, and everything's good to go again, right? So we went with that theory. And instead of all the trash blowing through the braking system, something else happened. The rod that goes into the master cylinder completely bent. So she's done. The brakes don't work anymore. Yeah. Let's see, we can get in there now, but you guys can see that the boot down there is like pointing straight down now, and there's a nice big curve in that rod. And all of it's trash. The old rod from the brake pedal actually bent, and it doesn't even look like it was that piece that we just cleaned up that actually goes into the master cylinder, the pin that pushes on it. It looks like the rod itself failed, and who knows, maybe it's like conduit or something like that. You never know. It could be some kind of thin wall tubing that they just welded an end onto when these things were new, and they figured it would never have, you know, any rot or anything like that. And unfortunately, it was the one piece on this truck that was gonna fail right when we got to having brakes. So no big deal. We'll have a fuel pump and hopefully a new rod and a new pin next week and finally drive this thing. It just keeps adding up, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh well.
That's what cars do.
But we've probably spent more on it than it ever costed brand new.
That's true, because it was $55, and just that master cylinder, that master cylinder was like $140 by itself.
3 times the money in that.
3 times for the brakes, what this truck costs. It's crazy. But we're gonna get all this sorted out and replace the brake rod and the little push pin into the master there and try again. We should have fluid. We know we were getting brake fluid in and back out of the system because the brake fluid in the master was starting to turn dirty. it's just, it always happens with these old cars. You start getting trashy brake fluid through. We run like a full 2 quarts, 3 quarts through the system till it's all clean, and then we're ready to rock. But unfortunately on this one, we started getting the trash out of it, and that's when the rod broke. Like I said, win some, lose some. The win some, lose some shirt just needs to be you know, a 3/4 of this truck.
Yeah.
Win some, lose some.
We're gonna lose a lot.
We won a pretty big one, and then it lost.
Yeah. I mean, I had a decent pedal, and then it just was rock hard. I was like, push through it, and so I pushed, and then I was like, now it's stuck to the floor.
Yep.
So.
And I had taken all the bleeders out. I wire wheeled them all, not the seat, obviously, but all the rusty parts of the bleeder that are actually outside, cleaned all those up, blew air through all the bleeders, brake cleaned them. We knew they were all good, and we were able to get vacuums through them, and we were just waiting on brake fluid to come out, and instead, complete mechanical failure. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. And I will talk to you next time. We got this thing out of here. We had to cut it out of the truck. Here is Eric's handiwork. Take a look at, let's put that back where it was. Yeah, that's what he turned that straight rod into right there.
Looks like a natural bend, honestly.
It's supposed to look like that. It just went shoot. Oh man.
I think this was pretty compromised just from like how bad it was.
This was pretty toast, you know? I think it should have held up better, but it's crazy that this was also just trash. So my thought here is I cut it right at the threads. This rod is solid, actually. And it just snapped right here at these threads. So we cleaned this up with the grinder, grab a bolt, cut the head off it, weld it on there real quick, put all this back together, and toss a new jam nut on that bolt as well. The only thing that's gonna be hard to find is that. And it was supposed to ship with this in the picture that I saw. So unfortunately, we don't have it. It's also supposed to be adjustable. You can see that it is adjustable inside, but it's rusted completely to where it's not adjustable anymore. So anyway, that's why I cut it the way I did. I figure we can quickly weld on whatever this hardware is. Should be pretty easy to find out, and have this rod back up and working. The only thing that's tough is that. We could just cut this right off and turn a piece of all thread or something like that real quick and have it tomorrow. We could have it all fixed tomorrow.
Yeah, probably.
A little bit of welding and we could have this sorted out.
Yeah.
And maybe we should machine our own. It might be easier than hunting for these parts.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to, at this point, we'd have to go get it off another one, and the chances of one being like right next door
Are low.
Yeah, slim.
Slim. So maybe we just go make some stuff tomorrow. I figure we'll have 30 minutes in making it. There it is.
Let's just go buy a new International.
That's right, that's right. Can we go to the dealership?
Yeah, I think it's called a Case now. But.
Get the old Case IH truck. It's just crazy because we never saw brake fluid at the bleeders, but we know it's finally there.
Yeah, I mean, I think I pumped it probably realistically like 400 or 500 times.
Yeah.
And I was getting some sort of a pedal.
I also threw a solid 100 in there.
like in 10 seconds with your hand.
Yeah, as fast as I could, all the way up and all the way down.
But I mean, it was definitely gaining on it. Like the pedal was going somewhere.
Yep. And we had all that vacuum on the system too, but
yeah. So
we got close.
Leave it to me to break it.
Yeah, it happens.
That's what I'm good at.
Something was gonna let go.
Well, yeah.
But I think even right now, I'm still gonna jump in here, crack the bleeders, and see if I can get a little vacuum on. Yeah. And see if we find any of that brake fluid. Because it wasn't at the back, we know that. But it's in the system. We also know that. I bet the brake lights were working. That's the one thing we should have tested.
Oh. See if the brake light switch was there.
Yep. I bet it was working when you had a pedal.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
Now there's just no brakes.
Hit stop and then start it again. It has a tilt sensor.
Oh.